I am noticing a bit of hate towards asexual people in general when it comes to pride parades in its totality. I'm noticing a lot of hate when it comes to online media. I'm noticing literally no representation in any capacity inside the entire diaspora when it comes to the LGBTQ IA plus community. It seems as though everybody is averse to the aspect of even including the aspect of being ace or asexual or aromantic or something of that variety in the entirety of the whole spectrum when it comes to the LGBTQ, and I think I've discovered why that is. So I'll give you an example and you tell me if I'm wrong. This is just based on my own personal experiences as being somebody that is on the A spectrum. So here goes the fun part here. Let's look behind me and look at some stereotypes for one moment, because this is very important to how a lot of people view the LGBTQ even within the same community that aren't a part of the regular things. Tell me which of these two people is homosexual. You can probably immediately tell me which of these two people. You can comment in the comment section down below if you want to. Probably immediately tell me based on stereotypes alone about which of these two people is homosexual. As a matter of fact, I put up these two images right here. You can more than likely tell me which one you would assume is a lesbian. You can actively say, oh yeah, this one's a lesbian based on appearance alone. Now I know some psychopath is going to comment, well, you can't tell because you never know how people are on the inside and things of that variety. That's fair, and I'll give you that, but I'm also asking you to be quiet for one moment while I explain this. This is something also very important as well. Tell me which of these two people is ace. Just give me your best guess about which of these two people is ace. And if you guess the one that looks like a prude, you might be a part of the problem. You see, this is my biggest issue with when it comes to being on the ace spectrum in totality. People assume, for some odd or crazy reason or whatever, that we're completely repulsed by everything when it comes to all the nonsense that goes on at Pride. For instance, I was recently at Pride. As a matter of fact, I'll show you a clip of me at Pride right now, arguing with a bunch of Christians that came to actively just yell at us for being homosexuals. Observe.
God wants you to be gay. 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 Over here, don't believe him. God wants you to be gay. 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 God wants you to be gay.
They tried to beat me up for simply saying that statement over and over again, and the cops tried to kick me out from being at the Pride Parade and let the Christians stay, because cops are not there to help the regular person. They're here to help everybody else. So there goes that. Well, I guess if you're homosexual, you wouldn't be, or more so LGBTQ, you wouldn't be a part of the regular person. You'd be more so a part of the diaspora of the flood going against the entire tide. So that's exactly what will be happening there. It was very interesting to see this, and I spoke to another cop that's talked to me that was very supportive, and he actively got me back over there arguing more. So I argued with them for about an hour straight, just an hour straight of saying that God wants you to be gay. It was pretty fun. And then the Christians ended up leaving, and I won that battle, me alone with my one microphone, despite everybody yelling at me and things of that variety. They recorded me and posted me over a bunch of all this Republican and Christian media. It was pretty fun. I was known for about 3 days, and then they got bored because they realized I wasn't responding to anything. This is my formal response to all of you. I don't care about anything at all. I just wanted to do something to get you guys to get away from people shaming them for being homosexual. It was really fun. I'm a very active member of the LGBTQ community. I'm always around. I'm always here. Just want to point that out. Just want to state that indefinitely. But I am not accepted as much as everybody else. While I am a ace person, I am on the ace spectrum, I am also bisexual. I like anything. I will date anybody. I will date anyone. Doesn't matter if you're trans. Doesn't matter if you're a femboy. Doesn't matter what you are. I just like you for the aspect of your personality is what I'm really going for. And this seems to be the problem in totality, because I'll date people and they'll say, well, what do you like about my body? What do you like about this? Do you think I'm feminine enough? Do you think I'm masculine enough? And in totality, I genuinely don't care about any of that. This is my own personal thing, but I personally only date if I find you generally stimulating, mentally entertaining, not in a sapiosexual sense, but more so in an aspect of I just want to date you in the capacity of learning you for your personality. I chose to date you because you are very entertaining. If you don't know what sapiosexual is people that primarily are attracted to intelligence, which feels a little ableist. I'm not gonna lie to you, it just feels ableist, and in my opinion, that's just how it operates there. But that's just me personally, just critiquing things that I see. But I have no true opinions on that because I am not a sapiosexual. I don't know how that operates. I don't know how they operate as human beings. What I can talk about is the fact that while we have no stereotypes, while we have nothing on the entirety of the ace diaspora, we are often the ones that are most critiqued by saying that we don't belong at Pride. Because Pride has had this entire long history of being a very big overgrowth display of promiscuity. And that is not me commenting and saying I hate it. I enjoy people walking around in underwear and seeing a topless lesbian and all this stuff and having fun and seeing drag queens talk about their genitals, all this fun things, and just all this nonsense of people walking around topless and sometimes with their butts out. And kink at Pride, that's the whole thing. Kink at Pride, that's the entire aspect of there. And this is in very big retrospects to combat the main outpour of mainstream media where they talk about and show a bunch of promiscuous women, where they show these big buff sexy men getting with these women. We in the LGBTQ community are having our own revolution of sorts when it comes to talking about the aspect of our own sexual identities, and a big part of Pride, a big part of the LGBT community, a big part of this is to show our sexuality, is to show that we want to be normalized. So we show it in an overly zealous display. We show it to everybody. We do these things, and it's more of a beautiful just coagulation of just everything that happens with us. That's what we're trying to show. We want to show men kissing. We want to show women with each other. We want to show the aspects of our body. We want to show what we are to everyone, because this is important to know that it's not weird, it's not strange. It is part of the human experience. It is part of the aspect of choosing how you want to live, being introspective about your soul, about your life. That is the aspect. And some people think that we go too hard. Some people think that it's too much because they think it's weird and gross, and things that are often misrepresented, things that are often seen as gross, or things that are often seen as the opposition of things, are often hated. And that's where we talk about ace, because a lot of people think that ace people, especially in the LGBTQ, are simply repulsed by promiscuity. They're simply repulsed by sex overall, when we're not at all. We're not repulsed by it. That's not how we operate. That's not it. It's just we don't have the initial feeling and craving of it. That's it. It's not as if we hate it in totality. We just don't have the same exact feelings as you have. As a matter of fact, a lot of people that are aro or ace can actually feel, in some aspects, some attraction when it comes to their promiscuity. They don't like it. They hate it. I hate it. But in general, they still feel it. They just don't like it. For instance, I'm pretty sure you have feelings in your body that are natural to you, such as body pains or body aches, that are agitating to you, that are simply a natural part of how you have to exist. Well, guess what? That's how it is with the entirety of the ace spectrum. That's just how it works with ace people. It's not as if we are immune to relationships. We want to be with somebody. We crave being in a relationship. We just want somebody to understand us. And by having this split, this for some reason anger, it feels as though that we are ostracized from the very community. It feels as though we have to make our entire thing. And this is the same sentiment shared by a lot of trans people when they talk about the being a part of the LGBTQ, because a lot of trans people feel like they are hated in their own community as well, because there's a lot of issues with the gay community, with the lesbian community, with the trans community, as if each separate letter has its own community with each community, and it's becoming a more of a division game more than it's becoming us as a united front. While we're all one gigantic umbrella term of the LGBTQIA plus community, it seems as though there is also the aspect of every single letter, from queer to bi, is all having these internal fighting issues of what actually is pansexual, what actually is bisexual. I'm gay, so I'm the leader of everything. Why is the L first? It should be G first, because gay men were here first in the beginning. It's an entire thing that happens here where everybody feels like there's a lot of infighting. And I feel like I don't even have a voice to infight, because my sexuality is, to many people, just not having a sexuality in totality, when it's just a very low drive of it. That's generally what it is. If you don't want to say no, just say very low, because it's very interesting. Oh, he likes garlic bread and dragons. No, I don't. I'm not a fan of garlic bread in any capacity. I'm not a fan of garlic. And then I'm just not a fan of garlic. I'm also not a fan of dragons. I think they're cool, but I'm not going to go crazy sicko mode about that. And that's because there's a lot of crossover between expressing yourself in the most visceral and feral way possible. How does an ace person express themselves? Well, more so, our expression is a repression of the things that are often taught to us. Our expression is an understanding that we don't enjoy things. Our expression is often viewed as prudeness, as indifference, or as hate to everything around us, where we don't have any kinks, we don't have anything like that, we don't have anything like that, when it just takes time to learn. We are a very patient people overall. I would appreciate it if we could get a little bit of leeway when it comes to things. That'd be great. That'd be outstanding. But it seems as though we get no leeway when it comes to this, because at the Pride Parade, when I explained people that I was ace, they said, oh, but you've been in poly relationships. You've been this. I've seen your content. You've talked about sleeping with people. How are you ace? Yeah, that's because that's the only way people will like me. That's it. People view liking somebody as if you don't lay betwixt the sheets with them, if you don't sleep with them, then they won't like you. And that's kind of how I've had to deal with my entire life. If oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to do it today. Who are you with besides me? Who are you with? I'm getting accusatory statements, things of that variety. It feels as though I'm stuck in a bubble within a bubble within a bubble of me trying to fight and claw my way out to prove not only my existence to myself, but my existence to the very community that I've decided to be a part of. It feels as though this community is looking at me at arm's length and telling me, hold on a second, brother. You need to calm down with all the nonsense you have. It feels disgusting. I don't like it. At this point, it feels as though you hate me. It's what it's feeling like. Not me specifically, but I'm speaking for the entirety of ace people. And I'm sorry if ace people don't agree with me on this one, but this is really scary at this point because I don't know what to do. I have no clue. I go to a lot of festivals. I get invited to a lot of festivals. I get invites to a lot of events. I get people saying, oh, we should hook up things of that variety. And with apps such as Grindr, with apps such as Hinge and Tinder, and there's specific apps that primarily focus on the promiscuous aspect. If you are a man that is homosexual that has ever downloaded Grindr, you are wholly and keenly aware of the amount of just hole pick, the amount of phallic members you will receive on a day-to-day basis, and the amount of taps you might receive, just the grossness of it, all the hookups, all the DL, all the nonsense. And it makes me feel like, wow, I can't have a relationship in this capacity because this is the most expressed part of the LGBTQ. And I understand why it's expressed because of all these years of regression, and we're doing a protest in our actuality by expressing ourselves in this way. I get it. I really do. But I'm also telling you that I'm here too. I'm here too. I'm also doing a protest. This, in my own way, is a protest against the nonsense of promiscuity, against the nonsense of being in a correct bubble. I know it sucks when there's straight people that are ace, and then you say, oh, but you're straight. You're not really with us because you're straight and you're ace. They're still a part of it. They're still there. They're still a part of it. They're not some separate thing, some odd child that you have to make sure you don't upset. You're not going to upset us unless you keep disincluding us like you're doing right now. It feels as though we're part of no conversation. We're a part of no entity when it comes to this. It feels as though we're just some side thing, some tertiary aspect of this entire diaspora. It feels disgusting to be a part of this. I want to be a part of the spectrum. I want to be a part of the talks. I want to be a part of everything. I'm still still bisexual. I still date men. But the aspect comes with people saying, yeah, but do you want kink at Pride? You can do whatever you want at Pride. Do whatever you want. As long as children aren't having phallic members in their faces, and I don't see a 5-year-old with a penis lollipop like I saw one time, that messed me up deeply. That would be great if I didn't see that. That'd be cool. That's what I have an issue with. That's about it. Outside of you having drag shows and things of that variety, that's great. And I know what people are going to say in the comments. Well, we have grown adult Republican men having, I'm not talking about political spectrum because this is on both sides. This is on both sides. Because when it comes to being liberal and being leftist and being more so center left, it comes to the aspect of everything is promiscuous. Everybody has an OF. Everybody is talking about, oh, I'm polyamorous, things of that variety. And everybody talks about sleeping with their friends and kissing their friends for fun. Yeah, That's a part of the LGBTQ. That's a whole thing as well. That's an entire spectrum there. And then here comes the right wing where they're talking about, I want to see big jugs on screen. I want to see women. I want to see this. I want to see that. That's also a part. So both sides politically are against ace people when it comes to this. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the aspect of what I'm saying. That's what I want to get on about. I'm not talking this from a political spectrum. I don't care about the political spectrum when it comes to that. I'm talking about the aspect of if I can feel like a person, if I can feel like I belong somewhere. I feel like so ostracized. I hate even telling people that I'm like this. I hate telling anybody that I'm like this. I hate it because people are often like, yeah, but maybe you haven't found the right person or found what you like specifically. No, I've tried everything. And I do mean everything. I genuinely do. I've tried everything, man. I know some psychopaths going to comment something disgusting, such as just something illegal or something of that variety. But I've tried most things. Let's say that. I've tried most things. But it's just not me. And I want to feel like I belong to some group or some species. This is the most unorganized video I've ever had on this page, ever, because I'm just angry. I'm just upset. I don't want to feel like I'm hated for simply living my life and vibing. That'd be great. But it feels like I am. It just feels like I am. I'm not really having a good time here. If anybody else that is ace has had an issue about this, then go ahead and talk about it in the comment section down below. I might make one more video talking about this, but it's making me tear up. It's annoying. I'm just frustrated. Have a lovely day or night wherever you are. Bye.
I'm your nigga night, be my loyal. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you